You might be surprised to learn that some of your favorite fresh food snacks from the supermarket could be contaminated with dangerous pesticides. Tonight, we bring you a consumer alert. A harmful pesticide commonly used on wheat and oat products has been found in popular breakfast items. The FDA has even recalled over 54,000 boxes of a specific yogi tea due to excessive pesticide residues. While a healthy diet includes plenty of fruits and vegetables, the chemicals used by farmers to control pests, fungi, and weeds raise serious health concerns. In this video, I'll reveal the top 12 most contaminated fruits and vegetables, ranked by their difficulty to grow at home organically without chemicals. Each year, the Environmental Working Group, EWG, in the USA publishes a list of the 12 most contaminated produce items based on laboratory tests conducted by the U.S. Department of Agriculture. Many of the chemicals found in these foods pose significant health risks. For men and boys, some pesticides are linked to harm to the reproductive system, ADHD, and even cancer. Women and girls are also at risk, with some chemicals associated with thyroid issues and potential dangers during pregnancy. Here's the Dirty Dozen list, starting with the least contaminated and building up to the most contaminated foods. 1. Bell peppers and hot peppers, chilies, come next, with over 100 different pesticides detected in Australian samples. This finding is surprising, as chilies are typically resistant to pests due to their natural heat. They are relatively easy to grow even for beginners, although larger bell peppers are more susceptible to pests and diseases, making them a medium to hard crop for backyard gardeners. To counter these issues, growers are encouraged to select disease-resistant varieties and consider netting their plants to protect them from pests like fruit flies. 2. Green beans. Green beans, a common and widely consumed vegetable, have surprisingly high pesticide contamination levels. Recent tests revealed that 90% of green bean samples tested positive for pesticides, marking a 15% increase since 2016. Some samples contained as many as 16 different pesticides. Despite this alarming finding, green beans are one of the easiest vegetables to grow at home, making them a perfect choice for beginner gardeners and children. Their nutritional value and versatility further enhance their appeal as a home garden staple. For those starting their first veggie garden, green beans are highly recommended due to their simplicity and reliability. 3. Blueberries, a beloved fruit known for their health benefits, have a more concerning profile. The worst pesticide detected on blueberries is a neurotoxin harmful to the human nervous system, particularly detrimental to children's brain development. Over the years, the amount and variety of pesticides used on blueberries have increased significantly. This troubling trend coincides with the tripling of blueberry consumption since the early 2000s. Adding to the concern, 2 pesticides banned in Europe for their risks to human health and the environment are still used in the United States. Blueberries are moderately challenging to grow at home because they require acidic soil, careful planning, and attention to detail. While they can thrive in their natural habitats, cultivating them in most home gardens demands a good understanding of their needs. 4. Cherries, a favorite fruit during festive seasons like Christmas in Australia, also feature on this list. Despite their popularity and premium price, cherries often contain fungicides banned in Europe but still permitted in the United States and Australia. Growing cherries at home presents significant challenges as they require specific climatic conditions with extended periods of low chill for successful fruiting. Even with these hurdles, efforts are being made to develop cherry varieties suited for warmer climates. However, for the average home gardener, cherries remain one of the more difficult crops to cultivate successfully. 5. Apples, another household favorite, present a slightly different scenario. Around 80% of tested apples were found to contain dimine, a chemical used to prevent oxidation during cold storage. While the long-term health effects of dimine are still debated, apples remain a popular and hardy choice for home gardening. They are easy to grow in the ground or containers, and dwarf or low-chill varieties make them suitable for smaller spaces and warmer climates. Despite their pesticide contamination, apples retain their reputation for being a healthy fruit. As the saying goes, an apple a day keeps the doctor away. 6. Nectarines, often described as smooth-skinned peaches, are another fruit on the list. Over 90% of tested nectarines were found to contain 2 or more pesticides. Fortunately, nectarines are relatively easy to grow at home, even for beginners. They can thrive in small spaces, with some varieties being well suited for pots, making them an accessible option for gardeners of all levels. 7. Pears, once considered a low-risk fruit, have seen a dramatic increase in pesticide contamination over the past decade. In 2010, only 3% of pears tested contained pesticides, but by 2022, that number had surged to 61%, with pesticide residue levels doubling during the same period. This trend raises serious questions about the increasing reliance on pesticides despite advancements in agricultural technology. Traditional pear varieties thrive in climates with cool winters and dry summers, while subtropical regions might have better success with nashi pears, which are better suited to warmer conditions. Number 8. Peaches, a beloved summer fruit, are among the most contaminated items on the list. An astonishing 99% of peach samples tested showed traces of up to 59 different pesticides. Despite this, peaches remain relatively easy to grow in cooler climates, producing abundant fruit under the right conditions. However, their cultivation comes with challenges, as birds, insects, and other pests are highly attracted to them. To grow peaches organically, gardeners must invest significant effort in netting and pest control, making them a medium difficulty crop for backyard growers. 9. Grapes rank 4th among the most contaminated produce, with 90% of samples testing positive for 2 or more pesticides. This is surprising, as grapes typically face few insect or disease problems in some areas, though birds are highly attracted to them. Growing grapes at home is moderately to highly challenging, as they require annual pruning, adequate space, and netting to protect the fruit from birds and other animals. Additionally, not all climates are suitable for grape cultivation. 10. Kale, collards, and mustard greens, often celebrated as superfoods, are the third most contaminated items on the list. Almost 60% of kale samples in the U.S. tested positive for decal, a pesticide banned in Europe for 15 years. Additionally, 86% of all samples contained residues of 2 or more pesticides. Despite this, these leafy greens are some of the easiest and fastest vegetables to grow at home. They generally do not attract pests if planted in the right season and are hardy in most climates. 11. Spinach ranks 2nd, with the highest pesticide residue by weight among all produce. Alarmingly, 40% of spinach tested by the USDA contained traces of DDT, a pesticide banned worldwide since the 1970s due to its toxicity. Despite these concerns, spinach remains a nutrient-dense superfood, rich in vitamins and antioxidants. It is easy to grow at home during the appropriate season, but attempting to grow it out of season invites significant insect damage. 12. Strawberries top the Dirty Dozen list as the most contaminated produce, with some samples containing residues of up to 82 different pesticides. This staggering number underscores the heavy use of chemicals in strawberry farming, which has significant implications not only for human health, but also for the surrounding environment. Living near several strawberry farms, it's hard to ignore the strong smell of pesticides during spraying seasons, raising concerns about their impact on beneficial insects like bees and the broader ecosystem. Despite these concerns, strawberries are surprisingly easy to grow at home. They require little space, can adapt to various climates and soil conditions, and don't generally need pesticides or fungicides. Even in areas prone to pests like fruit flies, strawberries are typically unaffected since their main growing season often coincides with periods of lower pest activity. For this reason, homegrown strawberries are an excellent alternative for those looking to avoid exposure to harmful chemicals while enjoying fresh fruit. The controversy surrounding the Dirty Dozen list, published annually by the Environmental Working Group, EWG, highlights the tension between consumer advocacy and industry practices. Critics argue that the EWG exaggerates risks or has a bias favoring the organic food industry. Some even claim that the organization's reports are a form of propaganda. However, the EWG's work serves as an important check on the food industry, holding it accountable and pushing for transparency regarding pesticide use. It's also essential to acknowledge the challenges faced by farmers. Without their efforts, the global food supply would be at risk. Most farmers are responsible with chemical use, aiming to balance productivity and safety. Many chemicals, including pesticides and fungicides, are mandated by governments for biosecurity reasons, helping prevent the spread of pests and diseases. These regulations, while crucial, also contribute to the chemical residues found on food in supermarkets. Beyond the farm, additional treatments such as fumigation during storage and transportation can leave further residues on produce. Given these realities, washing fruits and vegetables thoroughly under running water is a crucial step before consumption. Washing can remove surface contaminants, though systemic pesticides that penetrate the skin often remain embedded in the flesh. This limitation reinforces the importance of sourcing food carefully and, when possible, growing your own produce. Farming today is more complex than ever. Rising costs, regulatory pressures, and environmental changes have made it harder for small family farms to compete with large industrial operations. These challenges sometimes lead to corner cutting, which can compromise food safety. The decline of traditional family farms, whose owners were deeply connected to their land and community, is a concerning trend, as corporate farming often prioritizes profit over sustainability and safety. While the risks associated with chemicals in fresh produce are worrying, processed foods often pose an even greater threat. Concentrated pesticide residues, along with preservatives, artificial flavors, sugars, and salts, can make processed foods more harmful than fresh produce, even the heavily treated items on the Dirty Dozen list. This comparison highlights the relative health benefits of fresh fruits and vegetables despite their contamination. Another concern is the cumulative effect of chemical exposure. Even within allowable limits, repeated consumption of contaminated food could lead to health issues over time. Although definitive studies on these long-term effects are lacking, it's reasonable to assume that reducing chemical intake is beneficial. Growing your own food organically or sourcing certified organic produce is one way to minimize exposure. Even small-scale gardening can make a meaningful difference. Home gardening isn't just about avoiding chemicals, it's also a rewarding way to reconnect with food and nature. Whether it's a small container garden or a larger backyard plot, growing your own strawberries or other crops provides control over the process and fosters a deeper appreciation for what you eat. With effort and attention, even those with limited space can enjoy fresh, pesticide-free produce. The issue of chemical use in agriculture is undeniably complex. It involves trade-offs between food production, safety, and environmental health. While critics and advocates may disagree, the conversation itself is valuable. Awareness and dialogue can lead to better practices, more informed choices, and a healthier food system overall. In summary, strawberries' position as the most contaminated produce on the Dirty Dozen list is a sobering reminder of the pervasive use of chemicals in farming. Yet, it also offers an opportunity to consider alternatives, from home gardening to supporting organic farming, and to reflect on how we can collectively work towards a more sustainable and health-conscious food system. If you enjoyed this video, hit the like button and subscribe to our channel for more informative videos like this one. Thanks for watching.